Good morning. First of all, I should apologize. As somebody who says he's a baker, he has a facility, I should have brought you some breakfast. But I promise you, within the next 2 months, we'll go in operation. Anytime you're welcome to stop by and get your sweets from us. First of all, Million Cups Daytona Beach is one of the newest projects that I had. I've been in business for about 35 years. And a little bit about myself, I guess. So, originally, my parents are Iranian. I was born in Munich, Germany. I was there till I was about 11, 12 years old. I moved to Iran for about 4 years. This was right before the revolution happened. Then my parents sent me to the US to go to military school. My family was all in military, wanted to become an airport pilot with the Iranian Air Force, and then the revolution happened, so all of that went out the door, and my parents moved to US as well. And I finished high school in Georgia, moved to Washington, D.C., went to Georgetown, and got my MBA. During that time, my parents moved to California because of the revolution, they wanted political asylum. And eventually I moved there to spend some time with them. I decided to do something different, went to the business of videos, music. That's the time the MTV was coming up, quite interesting, but it wasn't my forte. A lot of coke and a little bit of that stuff. And I was very boring in doing the projects. So I still had 2 more courses to finish my MBA in Georgetown, so I decided to move back to DC area. I had to do my last shooting for Duran Duran in DC. Came back to DC. I don't know if you know those, probably older people know who Duran Duran is. Very wild and crazy people. We did the shooting at the end. I had a glass of champagne with them. Next thing I know, while I'm driving, car is destroyed. Somebody hit me, or I hit somebody. Oh, prior to that, I secured a job because of my degree to go work for Merrill Lynch. So, the car accident, a younger gentleman hit me, so they said it was his fault because he was drunk driving. So I was lucky in that department, but it took 3-4 weeks before I could get out of GW hospital. Meanwhile, I lost that job. And I had to go look for a job right away to find something, and my parents were insisting, don't go back to DC. It's very much nicer here. And I couldn't tell them, hey, I lost my job, I want to come back, so I had to do something. So I decided to go work found a job in a bakery. And probably in about a month, I really fell in love with the process, what they do. And just like Michael, they were also Greek, the owners. The fee was not that much, to be honest with you, very little. And I told them, what I will do for you eventually is I'm bring you some business as a wholesale. So I like to get compensated for that. No problem. So in about 3 months, if the price of the product is $1, I would say I would charge them $1.03, that's 3 cents is mine. They will have no problem with that. So after 3-4 months, I was bringing $1 million in a month. And they were complaining, oh, you're making too much money, we can't pay you $30,000 a month, this and that. So this argument was going back and forth. And they would argue about everything. So I decided to, I found a partner to open my own small bakery. And that's what I opened up my bakery in 1982. It was a 1,300 square foot bakery. And I had base accounts, since I knew all these people. And it was not a written contract, so I said, I'm going to try to pick up 1 or 2, and we go, that's more retail and wholesale in the back. And in about 4 months, we were baking day and night, packing in the streets. We were very young and playing basketball in the parking lot and all these things, a lot of complaints. So, and then we ended up getting the building next door and keep on expanding, left and right. We went to probably 1,200 to 15, 2,000, 5,000. Still was not enough, so I opened up my first, I I should say that my industrial vacancy was like 10,000 square feet. And this is 1984. And then at that time, I'm 24 years old. So then usually experience, everybody says, listen to me, but if you don't do it yourself, you will never listen to anybody else. They would say, go bigger. I didn't because I was scared of it. And within, I think it was about 6 months down the road, I had the pleasure of meeting people like Howard Schultz in Starbucks, people like that. And one thing led to another. And we were granted the Starbucks business to do in Washington, D.C. area. And from 10,000 square feet we went to 20, 30, 40, 50. And keep on adding to the building that I bought. And they were very pleased with what we were doing because the product they had before was a frozen product. And we switched the market to a fresh baked product for each delivery. And the sales volume quadrupled because of that. So the stores, the volume of stores from 35 stores within 2 years went to 285 stores. And that's one of the problems of having just one account. In case that account decided to drop you, you're dead. So but that didn't happen. But it's a very dangerous thing to do. Unfortunately, even your customer it becomes so huge, you don't have time to go get another customer because you keep on adding every week to your base. Eventually they asked me to open up plants for them in Pennsylvania, which we did. That was another 200 some stores. We did open up plants for them in Chicago. That was another 300 some stores over there. And so that became the main base of my business that we were doing. And the other part of this business that some of you are entrepreneurs like to know, it's a learning process. So when your customer gets hit, you get hit. Meaning when Starbucks is going down to all these issues, I don't know if you remember 4 or 5 years ago, and they end up asking to reduce pricing. That's that we did to a point, but after a while it was very difficult to reduce more because we were making very high quality product rather than automation and very inexpensive product. They went through the same headache themselves. And so we went out and we eventually found a few new customers. And at the same time, we had some people who were interested to buy their business, not at the price that we wanted to sell it for. So I ended up selling that portion of the business. One of them in Pennsylvania, we closed. And eventually came to a year, 2 years later on, but that process went up to about 2014. So that we ended up coming to this area. Now, sorry about that. Now, I wrote here some stuff that I was asked to do, but my favorite kind of products, as you can see, I love croissants, and I love cinnamon rolls, those are my favorites. And let's go to the next. Yeah. So, the plant that I built here, I'll tell you a story about this one. I have 2 more partners in this business, and we are a company, we have several investors. The idea was first to open a plant in California. San Diego was my favorite place to do. And I found a beautiful plant in an area called Chula Vista, which is right on the border of San Diego. If you are in manufacturing, California is a very difficult place to do business with because of all the expenses for employees, taxes, insurance. So Chula Vista is very close to Mexican border. You would have half of the employees come in the morning, they go back home, and the rest of them were from San Diego. We got a beautiful plan, ready to go to buy the building. Next thing, I think it was 3 days before buying the building, I took my architect and people were going to do the flooring, and then the guy said, the architect said, something is not right about this building. And before you know it, we had the Border Patrol, DEA, you name it, everybody available. and helicopters fly on the top. So next thing you know, they put this plastic things on your back, your legs, and they put you like this on the top. The architect was screaming, "I am not here for that, I am the architect." So, but if you want to get a really free back stress release, go to them, they can do a very nice job for you. And we found out under this building, there was a tunnel. You can Google it actually. It's almost 3 years or 2.5 years ago. And $450 million of cash and drugs inside of it. And I told him, at least you should have known before, since you did this to us, maybe you could take some cash out. So Marcus and I, we all, no, we don't want to be in this area anymore. And so California became difficult to do. And due to the businesses that I did before with all these other manufacturers and also the distribution center, U.S. Food Services, I called around to find out if there are any facilities available. And I got a call back that there's a plan in the Chicago area, Indiana, and also here. Since I like the nice and warmer weather, I decided to first check this one here. And the plant is in Ormond Beach, about 200,000 square feet plant, and I decided to go forward with this planning. And that was one of the best decisions I made. It takes a little bit more time than I anticipated, but it worked out. And the name was also called Glucose Bakery. Since West Coast, I don't know what a glucose, we turned it and put it back here in the same building here. So what we're doing here is we were trying to set up a fully automated croissant, muffin, Danish line. And the idea is hopefully by the time we open up the business, we should be able to hire 60 to 70 people. And every month we are planning to add 10 people. We're not going to bring quite a lot of business that we have already in place because they've been co-packed someplace else. As people get trained, we bring as we go forward. Hopefully within a year, 12 months, 150 to 180 employees we should have here. And the idea is if you can put them on a 4-day, 10-hour shift, everyone gets 3 days off and things like that. It's been a little challenge to get the employees here. I'd say it's been very difficult. So hopefully with all this push that we get from everybody else, we can fill up the positions. So as you can see here, we have international customers. We do business with Korea. We do some business with Japan. And we have also customers nationwide in the United States. Our distribution points, we send everything mostly from anywhere that we produce. It goes to Chicago, from Chicago to logistics systems. They go to cold houses, and then it is distributed through the whole country. So we try to be very involved with the local community, as well as when we got this building, we changed everything to an LED system, so we reduce all the carbon system. We have the consumption, that's how we reduce the consumption of energy. Obviously, it's good for us. In California, we were planning to do the solar system, but here it didn't work out because the state did not give that much of a credit to do something like that. California would be free of charge and would come and do all of that for you. We can go through the rest of this when we have the conversation. One of our specialties is that we've been doing this for 34, 35 years. I'm honored and a pleasure to know many great bakers, chefs in the whole industry. And when it comes to a customer who is looking for some new product, innovation, things like that, they mostly come to us. Whether we can make it for them or not, we will direct them to the right people. Hopefully we can do it ourselves, obviously. In regards to quality and safety, I keep a very high level in that department. Some of the manufacturing government does not ask you to do many of the extra steps that I put in, that my quality control QC guys He had a lot more hair when he met me here, and it was dark. Now he's getting white because of that. So we're putting that in place because what I make is something that I think my kid, myself, and everybody that's there should be even very proud that there will not be any issues. We do make products which is non-GMO here. We make them natural. We make them, we're doing gluten-free, but it's not much in this area. Somehow, unfortunately, gluten-free is going out the door. We're also making vegan products. They're all certified. Each certification is in a different category that you have to follow them. We'll get to that later on too as well. Let me see what else I wrote here. So since this is a semi-automated plant and a fully automated plant, our efficiencies are much higher. From the day you order your product, customers orders are usually minimum truckloads or something like that. So from that point on, within a matter of 48 hours to 72 hours, we have the product made. And from the time it's made, the time it's completely frozen to ship out, it's usually about 24 hours. And these are some of the quality control assurance certificates that we have. There are quite a few more than this, actually. This plant is 200,000 square feet. Croissant, it says 12,000 pieces per hour, depending on the size. Could be up to 20,000 an hour. Same thing with Danish. Our main core of business, as I said, is croissant, Danish, cinnamon roll products like that. As you can see, hopefully next time I can bring some of them for you, not just show pictures. This is some more pictures of the plant. Sorry about that. So we are putting in these are the tunnel ovens we are putting in place, mixing station, some of the automatic systems with the power making, baking chambers. And then the sales of the projects are, as you can see here, we have food service. That means places like hotels, establishments like that, we consider food service catering groups. And then we have commercial, retail, which is like supermarkets, places like that, we consider them. Commercial is if you make something for systems of rewards and things like that, we go, that would be the percentage of our business. Ready to eat is mostly sandwiches, products like that, ham and cheese croissant, some things that are already made, so RTEs. And we were planning to do some things for military as well, so would be ready to eat meals. The products, 25% muffin. These percentages could be fluctuate due to the fact that depending what the contract comes in. We have 25% cookies and scones, 18 loaf cakes, which was a picture of lemon loaf cake, which is my favorite. Brownies, croissant, that's the majority of the business what we do. So, so what is, they always ask you, so there are a bunch of other bakeries in the world, what differentiates you from some other bakeries? So having a combination of 2-3 people that work with me right now, I have 82 years of experience in doing these type of products. And getting to know the customers, to know the market demands. We have people, as in this business that I write quite a bit for them, and so they do. Fluctuation of the market demands, what is needed, what is going to be in the future needs of the people. Like everybody's going for healthier, better for your product. So what you do, and as I said earlier, capable of doing natural, GMO, vegan flavor product, and also being able to procure the proper vendors that will bring you the right type of product. Sometimes I'm sure you've seen the news, some things come from overseas, they have albumin, some other stuff, so we make sure what we bring in, what we have is the right product. The supply chain is that we make sure the product is made mostly in the US or in Canada. And based on what, if tomorrow I have an order for millions of this thing to make, we cannot say, hey, buddy, we don't have this type of sugar, we don't have that type of flour, to make sure you have all of that in place. And price, the way we lock in the prices is usually based on the contract we have. We go back to the vendor to make sure they lock in the price for us. And the way we do the pricing for the customer is, since these are all very large customers, they know the price of raw material better than I do. So there is no reason to fool around with them. All I do is called the open book policy. That means I give them almost the recipe we have, except tweak if they know that. So we do flour, sugar, oil, butter, whatever goes in it, fillings. Tell them this is how much my cost is, and this is how much we want to make. This is our overhead cost. This is how much we like to make at the end. And usually, we all agree on those numbers. It's nothing exceptional about it. So, these are some of the bakeries that I put in here. So what differentiates us also, as you can see, we are certified with the FDA, USDA. We have the capability of doing national, international distribution. And compared to other bakeries, we can do a lot more for our customer than just some of the other big boys that are in business. This pretty much says how we pack for the customer. These are mostly we do co-pack, meaning for the food service, what kind of product we can make for them. Pretty much same things for retail, commercial, and ready to eat. As you can see, they're more limited than the other. And some of the cookies, again, for the healthier project, I did not bring that for you, so we do the same thing with non-GMO. If somebody needs the products, it's non-GMO. Obviously, there are some labor is pretty much the same as the upcharge for the costing for the low-lying ingredients and product like that that we roll into the place. We do also make unbaked product like frozen batters. We do the same thing, frozen croissant dough, frozen Danish dough. At the consumer level, what they do is they proof and bake, or thaw and bake, and we also make the product as thaw and serve. Some of the other products we do. Scones. Pretty much if you bring to any Starbucks, not recently, the last three, 4 years before, if you didn't like him, you can blame me. If you like them, you can thank him. Same thing with this gives you an idea what other kind of products we do make. Cinnamon is one of the best sellers that we have. And now I think we're working on a project called the Nutella. So it's a clean label Nutella, which is very difficult to bring it from Italy. Croissants, the same with few croissants. As you can see, it's all natural or regular. So that's the differentiations is a little bit more expensive compared to what they can have. So this was the part they're frozen to bake and ready to eat. These are the sandwiches that they're enveloped into the product.
Very unfair how hungry you're making that.
I'm sorry, I should have you guys something. So, same thing with the kitchen. Okay. That's the whole grain products, the same thing we do. And that gives you an idea what we do in the new plan that we have here right now. If there is any questions that you have,
Thank you, Kambiz.